says insert stopper in patient Y and turn on both gas sources. Okay, uh-oh. Don't lose this little green stopper like I almost did, okay? All right, we're already connected to gas. Set bias flow for 20 liters per minute and rotate mean airway pressure limit to max. All right? How do I read a torque tube flow meter? Is it? Okay. I had to stop and think. I was testing you because this one doesn't tell you like some of them. All right, that looks like about 20 liters per minute. I'm going to turn my limit all the way to max so we're not running into that ceiling when we do this. Pressure the system and adjust for a mean pressure of 19 to 21 centimeters of water. Okay? Pressure the system by basically holding your reset power. We want 19 to 21. As we're getting. We'll just have to go with that. Frequency to 15. I time to 33, start the oscillator. Already good. Now, set power to 6. That's this little knob up here, and you can barely read it where I'm standing. Okay, so you really, the numbers are really, really tiny. We'll lock it, and we need to center the piston. How's that piston look to you? You can actually probably see it better than I can. All right, so we're too far to the right, would you say? So I need to take my piston back a little bit. What do you guys think? A little bit more? So again, this isn't something you'd have to do on the other. Okay, and then observe.
Was that supposed to be at delta 6? It's at 4.9.
This is supposed to be at 6.
Oh.
This is 49 centimeters of water.
Okay.
My issue is this should be a little bit higher. So I'm going to have to look for, make sure there's not a tiny little leak in the circuit. I hate, because Carrie just put this circuit on, I hate to go through, make sure all these diaphragms are on good and things like that. So at altitude of 0 to 2,000 feet, which we're at right now, I should have a mean of between 15 and 23, and I actually should have a delta P of about 56 to 75, so I'm a little low on that. So there may be a little bit of an issue with the circuit. This is not one because of the expense of the circuits where we're going to take it apart and put it back together. When I was at Methodist, Randy gave us a circuit because somebody had opened one up and they ended up not using it. So that was really a nice gift because I'm not insinuating that you guys should try to open stuff up and so we can have it out here. But, don't do that. But whenever I can get something that expensive, just accidentally, it's kind of nice. Because the old circuit it needed to be changed out. You can imagine the wear and tear on the diaphragm here. you may not appreciate it unless you're sitting where Cameron and Chelsea are, but that thing is, you know, and it's going to give out. All right. So we'll pretend it passed the performance check to start off. So I'll just go ahead and do the settings that were on the your practice. I really have a lot of hints on the back for this one. So frequency of 10. We'll kind of pretend.
Is that E or is that E?
This is 2.
Okay.
And you can be off by a little bit.
Yeah, you'll drive yourself crazy. And that's part of the reason one of the hospitals uses the knobs rather than the readings, is because they will change on the baby. In other words, a power of 6.0, if the baby's compliance or their lung mechanics change, the amplitude may change without even changing that power knob. So their philosophy is, rather than chasing the amplitude, you just leave the power where it is and take the amplitude that you get. Okay, inspiratory time, 33%. I'll probably mess it up. Bias flow is probably still at 20. Power, 2.5. I just really can't show you this, how this knob works, unless you're right with me here. So I'll have to just kind of do it with each of you as you're playing with the ventilator. Lab on Friday. And then a mean airway pressure of 14. So I'm going to turn my green knob down. So I get about 14 on my mean airway pressure. Again, this was another one. I don't normally do that. Usually it's still bouncing around, it doesn't stay. But we'll certainly take that. And then I want 40% oxygen. Where do I adjust that? On my blender, that's kind of hung down here. Okay? So you turn your blender to 40% and you confirm it with your analyzer.
We will have an analyzer for the checkoff or no?
Okay, so then what else do I need to do? Just like any other ventilator, set my alarms. Now this is one where I can just go through here and say, is everything set? I don't even have to guess. I do need to change this one. So again, I'm going to turn it back until it starts to drop that. There it goes, so I'm going to cock it back this way. I don't know what number this is set. There's no number here. It's just a little bit higher than where this one's set. I do know that. And then I want a mean airway pressure of 14. I'm probably going to take this up to 9 and maybe take this up to 22 or something like that. As my finger gets more sore as we do this, I'll probably not change those alarms as much. It seems kind of silly that your finger would get sore with 20. That's not really 21st century technology. It's really early 1980s technology. I need to center my piston. So that's one of those things. I almost can see it better up there. From here, it looks to me like I'm coming this way a little bit. So just alarm, center your piston, alarm, center your piston, just after you make every change. Most of the time you won't have to change the piston setting. Is that it? Then number 3, change my frequency to 15 hertz. It just so happens that this knob maxes out kind of at 15. So I'll just whip it up there. There's really no alarms to change, but what do I want to double check? My power still at 2.5, but my mean airway pressure crept up just a little bit. So I'm gonna maybe turn that down just a hair. These knobs are pretty sensitive. And then how's my piston look? Doesn't really look like it's budged much at all. Notice there aren't a lot of things to do in these sections. I had a hard time, because I don't like to make sections worth a lot of points, but okay, change power to 3.0. Unlock. That's about 3.0 there. That's my amplitude is creeping up, but I'm just changing the orders to change the power. How's my piston look? Maybe sneaking up on my mean airway pressure a little bit. So, that looks pretty good. Now, number 5 there, it says change delta P to 22. I tried to get both hospitals' philosophy in the check off. So now I want to change this 31 to 22. How am I going to do that? Which control? My
Power.
right? So I need to go down in my power now, right? I'm just going to, instead of watching my power knob, watch my amplitude. Guess our baby's doing better. What was it, 22? You probably know that if I get orders over the phone, I typically write it down. Because you don't want to get back to the ventilator and say, did they say an amplitude of 22 or did they say an amplitude of 20? If you get them from the chart oftentimes, because the chart a lot of times won't be in the room, So if you read it off the chart, you might want to write it down on a piece of paper too. Over the phone, I would definitely try to do it. Most of the times, if you take a phone order now, they have that, what is it? I can't remember the phrase now. Telephone order taken and read back to Dr. whatever. So they want you to read it back to confirm that what they told you over the phone is really what so there's no communication breakdown there. Change mean airway pressure to 16. All right, which knob am I going to use to do that? Okay. Doesn't seem to want to go any higher than that. Oh yeah, the blue one. Well, I'm scared, so I'm going to back up on this green one a little bit because I don't know how high it's going to be. Let's go up, and if you want, I think what Sean said earlier is, crank this up. That's probably okay. All right, so now I'm going to take this up. Still not getting very good mean airway pressure. Now, how could I get 16 if I maxed out on my? Okay, then we might have to go to our bias flow. So, adjust using, and then reset your limit. You may want to reset our alarms, but like I said, 16. I might turn this one up to 11, and maybe this one up. We'll just so that we change it, we'll put it at 23. And I'm probably going to use, just to show you, use our bias flow to go up to get it. We actually get a pretty good jump with that. How's my piston? Maybe just a hair, not even worth trying to fine tune. Now we're going to go to 18. Well, I'm already maxed out, so I know I'm I'm gonna have to use my bias flow.
Now with these, like in the baby log, it's like if you start turning the knob one way and it's the wrong way, are you a little bit?
I probably wouldn't be as strict on this one. 18, I probably want to bring this alarm back up a little bit more. Centered piston. I don't think our piston's moving at all. Change my bias flow to 25. Now this would be a case where I'll turn this up, but I want to keep my mean airway pressure at 18. So now I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Try not to drive all over the road. You know, if you get too crazy with these knobs, you might go too far down, too far back up, too far down. So I just kind of nudge it down. Again, play with it a little bit. You'll get a sense for how much it changes. I'm going to go with that. And again, I'm going to use this one. Turn it down so it starts to limit it. There, and then just a twist back. All right, and then, is it really this simple for this short?
Yep.
Restart the ventilator after patient disconnect. So, patient gets disconnected, really obnoxious alarm, so I usually silence that. Okay, still green. It's not going on. Gotta connect. Okay. I like that cool breeze blowing on my face, so I didn't want to put it. So if you don't fix the leak, it's not going to start back up, okay? So that really should take only a half an hour, right?
Can we borrow against that?
So like if the baby, so you have 4 ventilator checkoffs, you get 2 hours total that you can, it sounds like the price is right or something. If you're really close on this price, you can, is there, I don't know. The only time I ever see that, isn't even on anymore.
Yeah, it is.
Drew Carey does it
They
now.
show it on in the, I'm not gonna name the hospital, but I watched that sometime.
Well, most of those hospitals, they have cable, but the VA, that seems like the guys are always watching the Westerns during the Renans.
There's a TV at
Black
the
and
VA?
white.
Yeah,
Oh, in the room.
yeah,
I was
oh,
like,
We're good. We're good.
okay, cut.